Did I even tell you about my job? Who doesn't know about my job? Now, let's say now that I have time to do it, but I caught up with a part of the chat on Saturday during the cooking stream, but I do want to know if there's anyone who doesn't know my current drama unfolding. So basically, the concert tickets will be put on a person's name and most show ID. I see. So that means that even if the tickets got stolen, they won't be able to come in. Yeah, so do we start this day with bad news or no? Technically, we already started the day with some good news. I said that there's a new piece of content, and Angel's tickets got replaced. So we had like quite a few, good news going on in the chat. It's time to start with the, bad ones. I say bad ones because, it sounds like bad news, but technically, I'm very optimistic and really trying to find some positives in it. I guess there's no easy way to say it, but I lost my job. It's quite an unfortunate endeavor, really. I used to have a part-time job, so I used to work as a medical interpreter, which basically means that I was working on call and I was translating audio and video calls between English-speaking doctors and medical staff and patients who speak Serbian, Croatian, Slovenian, even sometimes Macedonian, since it's quite similar, Bosnian as well. So what happened was, a while ago, when I got the job, I was working per hour, which was fine. I was working part-time job. I was paid per hour of just sitting there waiting for my calls, which was great. And then after a while, they decided to switch me to per minute payment system because apparently there were not enough calls, or the company was switching the payment system overall. And they decided to pay me for a minute of talking. And at first I was like, okay, it's gonna work out. It didn't. It didn't, as there were not enough calls to even have me pay for rent. So the whole point of the part-time job was, okay, I'm gonna just do this job to be able to pay for rent and the bills so that I can stream and work on content and everything, and not necessarily have to rely on a content to pay for rent, rather than take the content money and kind of live off of it and invest further into the content, which was not possible with this per minute system. So then I stopped showing up. Sometime last month I stopped logging myself in because I didn't have shifts. I could technically log in whenever I wanted to. And they noticed that I stopped logging in, and I explained to them that I can't work per minute, that I want my shifts back because it's impossible for me to continue to work there. Otherwise, they don't really know about my streaming or content creation or anything. So they actually, after 2 weeks, they decided to give me my shifts back. Not only that, they switched me to 14 hours a week, and I was getting paid per hour, and that amount of money was enough to cover for rent, cover for the bills and everything, which was fine. I worked under these conditions from the moment I came back from TwitchCon until basically this weekend. Sunday, which is day before yesterday, was my last shift. The reason for that was because they said that everybody who was working per shift, were working less, that we were receiving less calls than what they were happy with. So technically, they were expecting us to be on air, as in call, for at least 49% of the time during our shifts, whereas most of the interpreters were on call between 20 and 25%, which is an unfortunate thing for me, because since I started working per shifts again, I was on call almost all the time. and I barely had any time to do content, which is why I was slacking, I guess, with some YouTube videos that I've been wanting to make, and it just wasn't working out. But now they said that I have a choice to either work per minute or not work at all, which is very unfortunate because working per minute requires me to be logged in 5 hours a day, which is just something that I can't afford. I tried, I really did, but at this point it doesn't pay for anything because there's just not enough calls during that time that I can be logged in for that amount. And it's just working for the sake of me telling myself that I have a job. So I no longer have one. It was quite a shocking endeavor. I found out on Friday, actually, so I talked a little bit about it during the Saturday cooking stream. And I'm not gonna lie to you, it is quite scary. I had to cancel the apartment that I'm currently in, and I have to move out. That's another unfortunate news. I have to move out, and for a brief time, hopefully, after August, like after Neon goes back to the UK, I am going to have to go and live with my grandpa, which sounds like a relief because for that time at least I won't be paying for rent. But without going further into my family details, history, and whatnot, it is not good news. That is the gist of it. But I'm left with no choice. So I'm gonna have to hire a truck or something to take my desk and my shoe rack and my kids' bed and everything there. And from there, once I'm at least somewhat back on my feet, I can start looking for a house. So even if my kid gets daycare at the place where I'm planning on him to go and be in daycare, I can't live there. I'm gonna have to have him pulled out of it until I can find a house that I can afford and that we can all be comfortable in. Like, I'm not looking for a big place or anything, it just needs to be cheaper, and houses in the suburbs are cheaper than this apartment in the city right now. So it's overall a very unfortunate situation to be in. I'm trying to remain positive. And of course I thought about, getting another part-time job or something like that, but it's just not easy to do this at this time. Hi Mitke, welcome back. What's up? It's just not easy to do it because you all know that the search plus the interviewing plus the probation work and whatnot it's just something that takes a lot of time. I live in Novi Sad, and I currently don't have it because we have to live and eat and survive basically. So what I'm gonna be doing from now on is something that I've already been halfway doing, but I guess this is the good news, is I'm going to be putting a lot more time into content. So I think I have a really good and realistic content plan. Right now I'm streaming 3 times a week while Neon is here visiting. And when he's gone, I have a plan to up my streams to 4 times a week, and those would be full time, so 6 to 8 hours. And I have a plan for both of my YouTube channels, actually. There will be daily YouTube content that I'm already working on. So the thing that I mentioned at the beginning of the stream that I'm dying to tell you, that is a part of it, but I have to have some content scheduled ahead as well. So starting from next week, there will be a lot more content that I'm actually working on right now. So I've started it, and I think the plan is actually really, really realistic, and it's gonna work out, but it's gonna take me this week to make this essentially database of content to be able to distribute to you. So that's the good news. You've given me a lot over the past few months, even a year since I came back to Twitch, and I'm very, very grateful for every bit of support that I've received. And instead of going to search for some part-time job that is going to appreciate me the same way or less than the one that I just lost, I'm just going to give more back to you. This includes obviously more Twitch content, as my streams are going to be longer, more YouTube content. I have 2 YouTube channels. If you're not subscribed to them, what are you doing? There's also Patreon and YouTube memberships. So far, I've been having them and I've been maintaining them, but I am upping the amount of content that is there. And that content includes Final Fantasy variety and Hearthstone. So there are 3 different areas to it. These days, I'm going to be reworking the perks for Patreon and for YouTube memberships. They're already in the works. I already started publishing this content, but I want to write it down in the Patreon tiers as well. So you can, should you want to, actually that's the best way to support me right now. If you want to support me on Patreon also. Even as a free member, you do have a lot of voting power for, for the cooking streams, for variety streams and whatnot. And there will be weekly polls for everything. So if you want to support apart from I call it the short-term help through tips and whatnot, which is very much appreciated, of course. If you want to support my content in a more consistent way, especially now that I'm in a situation that I'm in, you can do so through Patreon. And yeah, you'll notice that I do have the cooking stream fund here and in the in-game overlay as well. I'm not gonna lie to you, the Final Fantasy XIV cooking streams, they are getting a little expensive because the recipes are not cheap, and they do require a certain amount of ingredients that I normally wouldn't get. So for me to do this content on Saturdays and Sundays, and for you to see some recipes that are more, more fancy and whatnot, I have a $30 weekly fund, which I don't think is a lot, just to cover the ingredients, just so that I can keep doing that and not have to basically add another investment to the overall mountain of expenses that I now have. So that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it when it comes to news. So more content exclusively thanks to you, because you've been the ones showing up and offering me support and actually giving me the motivation to even start this and continue with it, and you made me believe in myself enough to to be able to even decide something like this. So thank you for that.